wanted to kick off this panel with, we hear all sorts of things about AI these days, and I even get confused. So it's all scary or exciting. So I want this panel to focus on more exciting things, which is why I want to show you 3 different perspectives from a lender, from a receivables finance point of view, a tech provider, and a scientist. And also fun facts about these 2 guests that you might not know. One of them is a former Dutch top field hockey player, judging by your height, I mean Diederik, and also a honey maker, but that's jokes on the side. So, you know, the intersection of these 3 worlds will be coming to life on this panel, and I want this panel to be very practical, so that when you wake up in the morning tomorrow, you still think about the use cases that we will be showing you today. But before we start with the use cases, let's get to the basics. Diederik, we've just seen your very visionary presentation, and I mean, I'd love to be on that beach and working from there. I can already see myself there. But you know, for companies that still have to embark on this journey, where does one start? What's the first step?
It's a good question, because that's what usually comes up. A lot of people believe in the idea, or want to change, but then how to start. And I think your story was terrific in that sense. It starts, like I said, with vision. So usually what we do is we take the board on a trip to, that's what you see, maybe the next one already. The board Gen AI Vision Workshop is what we do. Then we take 3 hours with the complete board together, and have a discussion about their business, the outside world, what are the opportunities and the possibilities with Gen AI, what are the risks also, and try to entangle that into a vision statement, and some principles for leadership in the company. That's where it usually starts, and that's what I also saw in your presentation. That was the first thing, vision. Then we usually go a bit deeper, because also in your presentations you presented the quick wins, and the quick wins are part of a roadmap, obviously. So you based on the vision, you define steps, very operational, practical steps, where you would like to move the organization to. And what we usually do is we try to do it with the roadmap with the complete organization. Based on the board vision, we try to engage the management, the broad management in the roadmap, and in defining the quick wins. And then it's a matter of execution. Indeed, like Piotr also mentioned, it's forming the coalition of the willing, people who really want to make this transformation, who are eager to work hard on it, and deliver business value. And what we usually then also bump into is the data question, because it all is driven by data, and usually data is the issue, because often data is hard-coded in systems, or data is very small, available.
I wanted to ask you about that, Diederik, because I mean, these days, you know, you showed us Amazon collecting millions of data. We get new sources of data, alternative data, or being overflown with data. How does one navigate, you know, through this jungle of data? And can Gen AI also help us structure our approach to that?
Yeah, that's part of the roadmap. Also, is a data strategy. You define the quick wins on the data that you currently have available, both internally but perhaps also externally. There's a lot of data outside the company also that can be easily accessed. But then it becomes more and more complex, of course, if you start walking towards the vision in the upcoming years. And the data strategy defines activities to open up the data from your own company, but also to enrich it with external data. And do it in an IT environment that is safe, where the data is protected well, But that's all part of the roadmap. But that's usually the biggest issue to start. And I didn't see it back on in your quiz. It was cost and budget, the biggest obstacles. But what we often see is that data availability is the biggest obstacle.
Yeah, exactly. And Piotr, from your perspective, was everyone willing from the very beginning to participate in the courses that you enrolled your various teams in, or did they need some persuasion?
No, I don't think that persuasion was needed. There were maybe some individuals that for them it was not interesting or it was impossible to participate, and I allow them not to participate, but the majority of people would like to learn and would like to participate, and it was really no problem. In our organization we change very rapidly. We really develop a lot of new projects, a lot of new solutions, and those who don't willing to learn, to develop, probably are not fitting to our organization. So it is something like inside our culture, I think.
And if we look at, going back to Diederik, I just want to, could you please explain to us this slide? Because that's what I was trying to talk to you about, the data. We've got open banking, we've got mobile apps. How do we navigate in all that?
Yeah, that's what I mentioned in my presentation with the ecosystem development. So what you see, I'll shortly explain what you see over here. So on the left side, you see customer segments, small business entrepreneurs and next generations. And like I said, 60% of the next generations is starting their own business. So they also kind of overlaps. And they produce a lot of data. They produce data with their mobile phones, by using their computers, by using their smartwatches and apps, by transactions, by paying, and that's where open banking comes in the world, of course. And we try to place that, so we connect all these customer-generated data, and we try to play that in a context of psychometrics, because people are driven by attitudes in their behavior. A lot of behavior is irrational, and that's the behavior that we would like to influence. And what we did over the past decade is connect with these data sources, test what the relevant data points are, build data pipelines to automatically prepare them for modeling, and then modeling can have different objectives like credit decisioning, like marketing, targeting is what Piotr also mentioned. Customer activation is very important. Financial wellness is in the UK. We have big projects going on now on financial wellness development, and you do that, and that's the SDKs. You do that in usually in apps, because these customer segments, their behavior is very much targeted on their mobile phones and in their apps. So that's where you would like to be. Not with your own app necessarily, but in the apps that they use already. And that's why we call it SDK. So we integrate with the places that they operate already in. And that's how we think that then it's kind of a circle, because then you connect, or you connect through the SDKs with the customer segments again, collect new data on their behavior, and enrich the models with that. And that's how it works, and that's how we think we can build micro-personalized use cases towards the future.
Enriching the context. Yeah, exactly. Would you say that Piotr's approach is a common one that you see when working with different companies, or how do companies that you work with usually start their journey? Was it one project, or do they centralize, their approach to Gen AI?
Yeah, that changes a bit. A few years ago, it was very use case driven. So a company picked a use case and they tried to AI enrich that. That's how it works, and to connect the data, and that's how it usually works. Nowadays, and that's why we also start with vision, and that's also why I think you started with vision, you want to have real business impact. So you want to place it in the context of the wider organization, and therefore it needs to be part of your vision. So these days, nowadays it usually starts with defining the digital vision and the customer engagement vision, and then look at what are the most important use cases underneath that we need to build to drive the transformation and that business value. And I think that's pretty much what you presented and how you also proceed with this.
Yes, if I may add something, may we have this slide with the road? Yeah, so I think that in my case, in our case, we are somewhere between point 1 and 2 at the stage that we are today, because we have the vision how we would like to develop that. But our approach to development of strategy is such that we always do it internally, together with our employees, with our managers, with people that are working on issues. So to be able to do it this way, we have to have enough knowledge and some experience to start. So the stage that we are in now is the collecting experiences. We have some vision, we are collecting first experiences, we are building the team from the people that are inside the organization, which is also reducing cost. Of course, no, we didn't have any AI expert, so we ask one person to enrich our team, but it's only one person. All other participants of initiatives are internal people, and we are doing those things. We are learning how it works, what are the possibilities, what are risks, how to do it. And I hope that thanks to that, thanks to those experiences and knowledge that we'll possess in the process, it will be possible to define more formal strategy, more formal approach to next steps. So, and I think that this part that is between point 1 and 2 here is very important, because even if we will assume that we would like to make our development together with external consultants, the organization has to be ready for that. We have to know how to talk with consultants, what to expect, what is possible, what is impossible, and things like that. So that is my comment for that.
Yeah, we have the first question from the audience, from Olivier. Nowadays, invoice finance AI is only used by a few pioneers. When do you think it will become a must-have and factoring organizations will be at a disadvantage?
Well, I think it is a must-have already, because like I said also, and like you also presented, it's about bringing value in engaging your customers, and really understanding what drives their lives and how you can play a role in that. And in traditional way of workings, that's sometimes, most times, very difficult. When you are not having a very extensive relationship management approach, it's very difficult to really, with the siloed IT architectures that are driving this, very difficult to really engage deep with your customers. And we all know that the very traditional relationship management ways of working are too expensive, and are not something that the next generation is waiting for. So I would say the time is now to transform, and take the steps that well, we both presented actually.
So my perspective is a bit different. I think that it's a must for today to be interested in that subject, and to know what it can give to the organization. Maybe the answer is not obvious, so it's important to try to test, to read, to experiment, and in that we are in that area. Of course, there are companies that are much more advanced, But I think that from today's perspective, it is trend, it's global trend that we have to be aware and probably follow. Everything here also depends on costs. Because it's not play for play, it's play for money. And the large question is if it may be monetized in our businesses. And to be honest, I don't know question. That's why I'm trying to check.
Yeah. So now I want to move to the use cases, which is a very exciting part, given you will all get a sneak peek into a solution that's not even on the market yet, but will be launched in a few weeks. And while Piotr will be preparing to show you that, I wanted to ask you, Diederik, so we can get connected here to show the solution. I wanted to ask you, Diederik, in one of your academic publications, you talk about the death of a financial advisor. Is that really so, or do you think, as the example will show, that we still need human input and expertise into such a robo-advisor?
Yes, I think you need both humans and technology. But not for all cases. So when it comes to bigger and more heavier financial decisions, like buying a house or having a real big growth capital injection in your company, that's, I think, a lot of people business going on still. But to help you advance your financial wellness in your credit card or debit card spendings can be perfectly automated, driven by AI, and be much smarter based on all the analysis of the transactions than humans can deliver. So I think, in essence, AI is going to strengthen the ability of people, also when it comes to more heavier financial decisions. Then I think the advisors will be more driven by Gen AI type of solutions, but they will do the advice because they need to investigate the context of the company or the person. And that's, I think, so it's not the death of the advisor. Better would have been that of the traditional advisor, because I think tech is going to be a major role in everything.
Just enhance, yeah. Piotr, the stage is yours.
Okay, so we simply can ask the questions. We have some prepared question, so maybe we can start with something that is already prepared.
Yeah, let's start with the basic one.
Maybe those yours questions.
Yeah. What is factoring? Co to jest factoring? Does the bot speak English?
Yes, we tested it in Polish, but in fact, it can operate in Polish and English, and the questions may be given in Polish or English, and the answers can be given on Polish and English, but English version was not deeply checked, so we'll see.
Really curious about the answer.
I don't know if you can read the answers from the screens, but maybe we can, is it possible? It's good enough, okay. So maybe we can add the question about the Klarna.
Yeah, but I mean, from someone who's been in the industry for quite some time, the answer seems correct. Financial service designed to improve cash flow for companies. Invoice issuance, factoring agreement, advance payment. His English is is exquisite. Yeah, so the second question is factoring similar to Klarna?
So now he's comparing those two solutions and giving some nice answer. So maybe we can ask something that you would like to ask, just to test. We are trying to treat it as some kind of test. So please not hate us if something will go wrong, but it's also we can use your creativity to ask something.
Maybe someone online? No?
Sorry?
How much does it cost?
What's the cost?
The cost of what? The preparation
Not
or
financing or factoring of the service.
Okay,
I
what
mentioned
is the
customer,
cost of the
I don't know
service?
anything about factoring, so I would like to ask
how much does it cost? Okay.
how much does it cost? Yeah.
So we are not focused here to make comparison of our service to the other services, but we can give some spread. It's not the offer that is information from the market, what the customer may expect. And we are focused on not giving names of competitors. It was really tough because at the beginning it was possible asking, different questions to force this mechanism to give answer in not pleasant way, to compare some companies or to give information about customers of us or other companies. So we hope that this part is stopped.
But what is good, I think, is you mentioned in your presentation that there is a fear in the market for factoring, and this is the objective of this is to reduce the fear and make people more accompanied to it. And I think that's what it does really well, isn't it?
Yes, it depends from the generation of people, in fact, because coming back to the question about the customer care, there are generations, older ones, that prefer to have contact with person and to chat with person. But some smaller generations, some people from representatives of those generations would like to talk with machine. They don't want to have emotional contact during the conversation. They would like to be able to ask any question without an emotional cost. So maybe it will be something that will support possessing knowledge by them.
Have you investigated also what drives the fear of people in the market? And did you use that in your training set?
I think that if the company is smaller, then they have much less time to educate themselves, because the owner or the people that are inside have to spend their time to do everything. They are accountant, lawyers, operation officer, and also customer center. So they simply don't have time very often in a normal operation hour to contact with somebody and to talk. Also, they can feel that it will cost a lot of time. And also using such tool, you can contact with that anytime simply you want, and you can discuss with him anytime you wish and come back when it is comfortable for you. Yes?
So I am a small SME with a revenue of, I don't know, 500,000 euros. I have a lot of small invoices. Can you help me with the financing?
You would like to?
Yes.
To ask such question.
This is the question, yes.
Okay, let's try. With revenue of
5,000 euros approximately.
5,000
You
euro.
can translate into zloty, I don't know.
Okay, 5,000 euros is all right.
500,000, sorry, 500,000.
500,000 euro.
It's not that small.
What you advise for me, yes? What will be the advice for?
And can you help me with the financing? Yes.
But your question is if we can provide the financing, or if
We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see.
we'll see what happens, okay? Because our aim here is not to prepare offer to the customer, rather information. But if the discussion will go to that direction, this mechanism will offer contact. So if you would like, we can contact with you, or you can contact us, and then we can talk about, commercial details. But you will not get commercial details here.
Yes, I am just, curious about whether this is a suitable financing option for me.
We'll see. There is the answer.
Yes, because that's I think also an issue in the market. Is there are many financing opportunities. Which one is the best for me? What fits my situation best?
So certainly, with an annual revenue, you fall well within the range of business that can benefit from the factoring services. Factoring can provide you with advanced payments and following. And to better assist you, I will need to ask you questions. And now we start the conversation. So we have to, now the conversation starts. You have to answer the questions. We will ask another questions, and then maybe some product will be give you as some advice.
Thank you.
But I think the potential of this is fantastic. If you move it more to these kind of more generic advice, because it's usually also unclear for small businesses where to go to ask whether factoring or leasing or a cash loan is best fit. So if you could advance this in that direction, then you get a lot of traffic, I think, and help a lot of SMEs.
We feel that there is a lot of ideas and potential how to use it, but we would like at the first stage not be, we would like not to use it as a direct sales force of us, but rather really as an educational initiative that will finally, if the potential customer will be satisfied, we will propose contact. But of course, we can. One of the version of this mechanism was very aggressive seller. So after such question, you have the offer, exact product offer and everything. But we escape from that because we think that it is, narrowing the potential. In fact, we would like to advise, not to sell using that tool. At this stage, maybe it's wrong. We'll see.
I'm glad that the audience really likes it. Unfortunately, we're running a bit out of time.
Last question.
Last question from the audience, please.
Just a general questions from our customers. How factoring can improve our working capital or my working capital?
Okay, we are putting that.
How factoring can improve our working capital?
And in the meantime, Diederik, we've got a question from the audience. Most of the factoring companies are linked to a bank. Do you think new technologies, namely AI, e-commerce, and digitalization, can create space for independent factoring companies?
Yes, that's also what you see happen in many CEE countries, but also in Western European countries. There are new fintechs arising, specifically focusing at factoring and at, like you said, for example, very small ticket factoring. Or, usually the fintechs look at what the bank doesn't finance and take these kind of segments. And with the new technology, your business model is different. You have very low cost operations, so you can move into other segments. So yes, I would fully support that idea.
It looks like your question got answered. So hopefully we can show the questions and answers afterwards. I wanted to ask about the future, but I think we really got a sneak peek into the near future at least. So I hope we're running out of time a little bit, but I really wanted to give you a sneak peek into into the art of the possible. So I hope that you will leave this panel with a little bit more excitement, or at least a little bit more consideration towards Gen AI in receivables finance and what it can do, especially in areas such as customer experience, credit, risk management, data structure. So I'd like to thank my panelists for today, Piotr and Diederik. It was a pleasure hosting this panel. Thank you to everyone online and here in the room, and enjoy the rest of this conference.